Hey, welcome to week 4, and here we go. Let's get started.
Hey guys, welcome to week 4. So this week we're going to be working in the Discovering Computers. I believe this might be close to your last chapter. So you have chapter 4, and then we'll be doing chapter 5 in week 5. But we're also going to be hitting a new application called PowerPoint. So when you navigate to the weekly folder, you'll see where you have week 4. And you're obviously in there since you're viewing this video. So the student outcomes for week 4 are listed in the next item. For the Discovering Computer Chapter 4, we're going to be working with programs and other apps. So you'll get into some of the operating system and some of the specialized applications that are used for areas such as legal and taxes and things like that. Then we're going to get into your first chapter for PowerPoint, and this will be a fun chapter. You guys are going to like this. So you're going to learn how to create your PowerPoint slides and add some animation and transitions and things of that nature down the road with the PowerPoint. But this is going to get you started on how to do those slides and setting it up correctly. So then we're going to come to the due date. So again, keep in mind this is the same document as your schedule document. So you'll be doing the training for Discovering Computers Chapter 4, that is in SAM. Then you'll read the book. Then you'll go and do the how-to, your turn number 2. This should start on page 94. This is in the textbook, but you'll be submitting your work through the discussion board in Blackboard. Then you'll do the exam for Chapter 4 in SAM. Then I want you to come to the PowerPoint section. So you're going to open up your book to the very first chapter for PowerPoint. And this is going to be creating and editing a presentation with pictures. So you're going to do the training in SAM, go to the textbook, and start reading and doing the steps in the textbook. Keep in mind, because we're going to use SAM to grade your work so you can get immediate feedback, go back and make changes, and then upload it again to better your grade, you're going to want to go to SAM and download the starting files. Once you're done with the textbook, and by the way, keep in mind you're going back to the textbook and all your instructions are in the textbook in Chapter 1 for PowerPoint. Then you're going to go into SAM and do the project, and then back to SAM to do the exam and then the quiz in Blackboard. Now, this is also the first week that we're going to talk about that capstone project, which is a decent chunk of your course grade. So the capstone project is available in Blackboard, and what I'll do is I'll navigate to it right now. Over here on the left-hand side, you'll see a link that says capstone project. So you'll click on that link, download the instructions, and then this is where you'll be uploading your files. So let me go ahead and go back into week 4, excuse me. Okay. All right, so let me get down here to below the schedule. So with Discovering Computers Chapter 4, again, same routine. You're doing the training, and then you're reading the book, and then you're going to go to page 94, and this is where you're going to do number 2. So make sure you look at the whole page. Don't do the wrong one. Read the instructions and make sure you answer the questions in the exercise section for number 2, and then you'll be posting your answer to the discussion board in Blackboard. Please make sure you are typing your first and last name in the subject line when you are posting. Don't forget to comment on one classmate's post. 30 points towards your post and 20 points for commenting towards another classmate's posting. Then you're going to go back into SAM and do the exam. Then we're going to move to PowerPoint Chapter 1. Same routine. I try to keep you guys in the same schedule. So you're going to do the training in SAM, which is a really good way to get introduced to the material. Then you're going to go to the textbook, but keep in mind you've got to log into SAM and download the starting file. Make sure you're saving this in your PowerPoint folder that should be in your IM 111 folder that you created the first week. And then you're going to start reading as well as completing the assignments. Now, one thing that's important, you need to open up the file you download from SAM as your starting file, but keep in mind after opening that you will need to apply a theme, because when you do this according to the book instructions, as you create a new PowerPoint presentation, you would also select a theme at that time. But because you are downloading the starting file from SAM, it's just a blank PowerPoint. So what I've included in here is a diagram that indicates where to go to in PowerPoint to select the correct theme. So you're going to go to the Design tab, and then you're going to click on this icon here for the icon theme. And after you're done doing that, then you're going to go ahead and start working on PowerPoint pages 2 through 55. Make sure you return to SAM to upload your file and get it graded. Keep in mind you have multiple attempts to get a better grade, so take advantage of those multiple attempts. Also note that you go back into SAM and click on Reports to view the feedback from SAM. There should be a list of all your assessments you've completed in SAM. And I believe it's the last column or close to the last column. There's an icon you would click on to download the feedback from SAM that shows your grade and which steps you got wrong, so you know what to go back and correct from your original file. Then you're going to go back into SAM and do the project for PowerPoint Chapter 1. Then back into SAM and do the Chapter 1 exam. And then you'll go into Blackboard and do the quiz. Now, let's talk about that capstone project. So let me scroll up here to the top. Let me go ahead and click on capstone project. This is something that's going to be due towards the end of the course, and what you need to do is look at the schedule so you know what the due date is. But I'm going to go ahead and launch the capstone project instructions. So let me explain what the capstone project is. It is just going to be a combination of documents that you're going to create in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And it's going to contain information on a topic of your choice, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes, but you want to make sure you read through this thoroughly. So the objectives of this project is to utilize these technologies to collect information and to present that information to an audience. So your instructions below are the items you will need to perform and consider as you are creating your documents. The first step is to decide what your presentation will be about. So you want to go to the options section of this document. Then you will need to look at the application section to see what documents need to be created. To make sure you are including all the required items in each document you create, refer to the rubric page for a list. So I just identified the 4 steps you're going to go through. You're going to look at the options section. You have one of 2 choices what your topic can be about. Then you're going to go to the application section so you know what documents you're going to be creating. Then you're going to get organized. This is going to be really important. You need to create a folder called Capstone Project IM111. Make sure you save it in your IM111 folder, and that's where your documents you're going to be submitting to me for your grade will be saved as you're creating them. Then you need to get organized. And what I mean by get organized, you really need to, once you identify your topic, you need to start collecting information. And I would suggest start with opening up a new Word document just to collect all your ideas. What's the purpose of the topic? What information you need to collect? All those things, so you can start building your project. When you are submitting your capstone project, what you're going to do is you're going to zip that that capstone project IM111 folder, not the IM111, but your capstone project 111 folder. That should contain just the 4 documents that are required for this project. Then I do have a rubric that shows the breakdown of the individual items that need to be in each document and how you can earn the points. So let's talk about the options. So your option here is to pick one from the 2 below. So the first option is student choice. You pick a project that can include information about anything you want, about a topic of choice. It can be about a hobby that you have or that you're interested in learning about. It can be something about planning an event. So if you're planning a big event in your family, it can also be, let's say, for example, you're looking at maybe purchasing your first home or that dream home. It can also be maybe pursuing advanced degrees as well. So you want to collect information about these items. You must get approval by me first, though. So please make sure, if you're going to choose student choice as your option, that you send me an email and indicate in detail what your topic is and what you're wanting to do with it. So that's going to be very important before you get started. So make sure in your subject line you type in IM111 and then capstone project topic. All right, be very specific on your description. Again, what is the topic, what's the purpose of it, and some of the ideas that you are going to use for your Word, Excel, and PowerPoint documents. Or you can pick option 2, which is to plan a trip. So here's the information on planning the trip, and again, it's your choice. And maybe you are going to be planning a family vacation. You can use option 2 as well. Then we come down to the application. So this is going to be minimum requirements. But what you're going to do is you're going to create a Word document that is going to be a report, and this is a description. Then you're going to create another Word document that's going to be a flyer, and again, you have the description. The third document will be an Excel spreadsheet that will show the breakdown of the costs and expenses. And then the fourth document will be a PowerPoint presentation. Now, as we move to the next page, this is going to be your rubric, and the rubric is just going to show the breakdown of what needs to be included to earn below expectations, meets expectations, or exceeds expectations. You can see the points that are going to be allotted in each of those 3 categories of this rubric. So, looking at the Word report, for your Word report, you want a title cover page. So if the title page is missing or missing items, you get 0 to 1. This is the minimum requirement, and honestly, guys, the minimum is a C, all right, a B or C. It's not an A. The minimum requirement would be to have a title page containing the student name, submission date, topic, title. If you want to exceed that, then you would include any additional visually appealing information on that title page. Then the body of the report. Then I go over again the below expectation, the minimum, and then exceeding. Same thing for formatting the text. I've got several of those. The footer, MLA style reports, works cited, and then the content. Then we move to the second document, which is the flyer. So then I have it laid out into what the flyer should look like, the orientation, the footer, graphics, different font styles, font sizes, borders, grammar, spelling, and creativity. And again, you're going to want to focus on this middle column first to make sure you meet the minimum, and then look at what exceeds the expectations to get the higher score. Then the third document is your PowerPoint presentation, and you can go through all of that. And then the fourth one is your Excel spreadsheet. Now, how you choose to do this as far as what order is up to you, but I would suggest at minimum start with the Word report because that builds the foundation to your capstone project for the rest of the 3 documents. So that is the capstone project. All right, so if you have any questions about the capstone project, give me a call, shoot me an email, and we'll get you through it. Have a good week.